in that sense, Ayurveda is not a drug to a disease. That whole theory does not apply to Ayurveda.
So it applies, there is, in Ayurveda, we have three levels of working with a person when one has a disease. So at the first level, we are trying to work with the doshas. Now we call it Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which are basically the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space, which is a very loose translation of the Sanskrit word.
Yeah.
But just for easy comprehension.
Yeah.
And that worldview talks about everything in this universe, everything and every person in the universe being composed of different proportions of these 5 elements.
Okay.
And so when these 5 elements go out of their natural balance in each of us, that is when we start calling them doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, depending on which of the elements are increased or decreased.
Are they all in the same proportion in everybody? No.
Individual balance. That's why I said every one of us have a unique balance of these 5 elements.
Yeah.
And when they go out of that balance, then we are starting to see the starting process of disease.
I would be born with a certain combination of the, the 5 elements, and then that would, if I maintain that balance, it would keep me in a state of health. If they go out of balance, I would be diseased.
Yes.
Okay.
I would be diseased if it goes too much out of balance.
Too much out of, okay.
Otherwise, it would be the starting point of disease.
Fine.
So, we are trying to constantly maintain this balance or come back to this balance, and that is normally done through our daily activity, diet and lifestyle.
Got it.
When I say lifestyle, now one important factor that is generally not given much consideration is the elimination process. Okay. We are always talking about nourishment and nutrition, but we also need to talk about elimination, because if the elimination is an important part of the metabolic process. When elimination happens well, that is when the nourishment happens well.
Okay.
If elimination happens too much, then it becomes depleting.
Okay.
If nourishment happens too much, then it becomes an excess, and that becomes the lifestyle problem. So we have to maintain this balance between cleansing and nourishment on a daily basis in our lives.
Okay.
And that is what enables us to keep this environment resilient and minimize the tendency to become imbalanced in terms of the 5 elements.
Okay.
So when we talk about the treatment side, in Ayurveda, you can address the doshas, where you work specifically on restoring the dosha balance.
Okay.
But that can take a little longer time sometimes.
Okay.
So for many people, it is important to alleviate the immediate issues because of the suffering associated.
Right.
So you can work with the disease itself. Without losing sight of the larger context of all the variables, we can work with the disease to reduce the immediate suffering while continuously working with the doshas. So then you have the third level where you are working on the doshas and the roga meaning disease, simultaneously.
Okay.
So depending on the need of the situation, need of the patient as assessed by the Vaidya, one or more of these approaches are selected. And so if I'm working with the disease, there are herbs that directly work with the disease.
Okay.
But do they enable complete healing at a deeper level? No, if the others are not thought about, if all the other variables are not thought about.
So then it is simply herbal medicine.
Symptom pacification.